welcome back to the Don and Gino Real Estate and Finance Show right here on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS.
And remember, our goal is always to guide you to personal and financial wellness.
Well, welcome back to another great edition of the Don and Gino Real Estate and Finance Show. Today, we have no Gino, so this show's going to be fantastic. Just kidding. Happy holidays from Don Gatling and Rob Schwartz with Premier College Guide. Rob's been on our show over a dozen times because he's our go-to when it comes to college planning. And every time Rob comes to the show, just like your college professors or you going to college, you need to be prepared, and Rob's always prepared with great information, and it's always unique information. It's not like, here's how you get into Stanford, here's how you get into Cal, here's how you get into Harvard. There's a lot more to it. Here's some options that you didn't think about. Here's a really fun topic today. We're going to talk about your chances to get into this segment here anyways. Is going to be your chances to get into certain schools, how many applicants go in, and how many actually get accepted. You're going to be surprised. Trust me on that one. I'm like, holy cow, that's awful. And then we're going to go into rankings, what the U.S. News thinks is how high the schools rank versus payscale.com. What kind of income's coming out of that? So, Rob, let's dive into the numbers. This is good stuff.
So, some of the numbers that I put together are talking about the most well-known, highly selective, and branded colleges. The ones you know by name. Not the ones that are really hard to get into that you don't know or don't care about. The ones that show up in all the parties and the lists and the blah, blah, blah. So, you know, we look at a school like Brown University, Ivy League school, great Ivy League school. I mean, I say that like, duh, of course it's a great Ivy League school. But it's great for different reasons than other Ivy League schools. It's like saying it's good pizza.
It's good pizza.
Well, yeah, that's true. It's really hard to screw up pizza. But you're talking, you know, last year, 3,014 students admitted as freshmen, 32,390 applied, 9% yield.
Ow.
Ow. Okay. For those of you who want to stay local, you want to go to one of the top, really the top 2 engineering programs in the United States, maybe the world. We're talking about Caltech, right? Caltech was at 8%. They had 553 admits, 6,855 applicants. Now you might be thinking,
less than 600 people got in.
Well, understand the entire undergraduate institution is less than 1,000 students. It's a very unique environment. So again, this is where we start talking about fit versus name. If you're the type of student who says, you know, I really love tinkering and I love engineering and I want to develop that skill set, but you're the type of student who wants to sit in one of those larger auditoriums, you don't want an entirely hands-on, you know, education, you want to learn the existing material, you don't want to create new material, this is the wrong place for you. This is where the envelope is pushed. This is where you'll take some classes and at the end, you're essentially creating the material for future classes. This is the best and the brightest in the world. And obviously you know their connection to NASA, which is, that's a good thing, that's helpful. But it's very, very small. It's like 930 undergraduate students. You'll never have a class over 15 or 16 students.
Very intimate.
Very intimate. There's an honor code. You know, they don't have to monitor you during final exams. We expect you're going to hold up your end of the bargain, and if you can't, again, you're in the wrong place. Let's scroll down our list a little bit. Harvard. Everyone wants to hear Harvard's numbers every year. They're terrible, and again, they're terrible this year. About 5% admission, about 2,100 or so admits, 39,000 applications.
Right there with Stanford. I mean, right, mano y mano, those both are about the same. 5% get in, basically. Stanford, you had 2,118, and almost 44,000 apply. Those are tough schools to get into.
And here's the thing. When I have a conversation with a family, or I have a conversation with a parent, and they say, so what is the secret to Harvard, or Yale, or Princeton, or Stanford? There isn't a secret. Let's just get that out there right now. Anyone who is telling you, any college counselor who is telling you, I have the secret, they are full of crap. Okay? Let's just get that out there. Full of, you know what I'm saying. Here's the deal. If you don't have amazing curriculum, you don't have amazing grades, and you don't have amazing test scores, you've already been disqualified. That isn't the secret, if there is one. If you don't have amazing essays, if you don't have amazing extracurricular activities, if you don't have amazing letters of recommendation, you're not getting in either. Those things are really important and they're nuanced. They're different for every student. And the message here is, are you doing things that are unique, that will allow you to do something that no one else is really doing? So when your application is being read, do you jump off the page as, wow, this is something I haven't read 6 times today? So
Right.
be thinking about what are you doing, and if it's something that everyone else in your school has access to, you're probably not Harvard or Stanford material. Then we talk about those weird idiosyncrasies, like, well, here's a student with a 4.5 GPA and a 1550 SAT out of 1600, and here's a student with a 4.1 GPA and a 1400 SAT. Well, this student is clearly better than this one, right? But this one gets in.
Academically, at least.
Academically, at least. Well, why does this one get chosen? They play the oboe. We need an oboe player this year in our band. It's an uncommon instrument, and this student does that and can meet the requirements.
Doesn't mean go out and have your kids start playing the oboe to
Right.
get in. It just seems you have a unique quality that that college wants.
Exactly. And sometimes the secret is you don't control the secret. So you have to apply a little bit more liberally than in the past. Unless, of course, you're not looking at the ultra-selective colleges and you're being a little bit more reasonable with your list. I have 2 seniors right now. Mind you, we're in early December. They're not just done with their applications. They're done. They've already signed their letters of intent.
How cool.
Woo! No pressure, no stress. I found the school I fell in love with because I did great research. I'm a good fit for the school. They're a good fit for me. Done deal. Made me the financial offer. Zzz, did it. Done. Oh, and by the way, I'm at the front of the line for all of the deposits, so I'm going to get first choice of housing as a freshman.
Ooh, that's important.
Double bonus. So understand that there's many different ways to solve this problem, and the more that we focus on the ultra-selective and the most branded schools, the more we may find we're actually fishing in a toxic pond. So understand that if you're applying to those schools, I'm going to tell you the first question I ask my kids is why? What about those schools is so great for you? And if you can't answer that question, not only are you fishing in the wrong pond, but you're probably not getting in.
I mean, if you look at some of these numbers, and we'll go into the rankings probably next, but I mean, you got some schools that, like UCLA, you have 18%, opportunity to possibly get in UCLA, but remember, there's almost 100,000 people applying for that same 18,000. You got 18% return. Notre Dame, 19, I was kind of surprised, but again, that's small. You're talking only 20,000 students applying, only 3,600 being admitted. SC, 17% chance. University of Virginia, 30% chance, but we're going to go into, yeah, you got in, but what does that mean? Because that's where the rankings of your return on your investment come into play. And that's a perfect example of when I know where University of Virginia, nothing against it, but it's one of the top schools, but is it one of the top return on your investment? Because it depends on what you're actually studying, am I right?
That's exactly right. And it's the reason why I tell families, forget U.S. News and World Report. It's not sensible data. Half of it is just made up junk. I'm not going to get into it, but I'm asking you to trust me on this. Use another source. That is not the right one. Unless you understand how those rankings and those data points are compiled, and you don't, there's not that much merit in them. So be aware that there's other ways to solve this problem and understand that you're looking for very targeted things. And if a school has 125 different majors and you're judging a school, well, which of those majors is really good? Isn't that a better question?
Well, we're going to go into that. Okay, we're only halfway in. Hopefully we teed it up to give you a really good concept of what Rob with Premier College Guide is going into. It's going to really help you, your grandchildren, your children, make a conscious decision and an educated, get that, educated decision on what school is probably best for them. And Rob's going to go into, next segment, we're going to go into how these schools rank versus what the return on investment is. And then we're going to go into some unique types of schools and also some schools you probably didn't know about. I know I didn't. I'm again going to tell you I'm pissed off that I didn't see some of these schools myself because it would have changed my world as it can for your children. So make sure you stay tuned, and we're going to keep you on the ball and on target, especially for kids freshman, junior, sophomore. They still have a chance to find the school of their dreams, so don't go away. We're going to make sure we point you in that direction.